Hey everyone, private MLB algorithm video from Monday, April 8th. I have run the macro to show all of the teams when you average out all the combinations. I've listed them over here. There's consistency among most of the teams here under combination string 110, which is what we're still going with, and 2023 stats for almost everybody, except for Aaron Ashby, who has AAA stats from this season. And his AAA stats from last season were atrocious. So I used his AAA stats from this season. They were very limited in either year anyway. So it's just something to know is this pitcher's a wild card and could be trouble for Milwaukee. So as we look at the list, we see that we have a lot of favorites up top here. Atlanta, Arizona, Cleveland, San Francisco, Tampa Bay, the Dodgers, Pittsburgh. Then we start to have a couple underdogs. The Cubs are on this list, the average list and the combination string. Texas is not. When you average out all the combination strings, Houston's on there. So that's probably a sign to stay away from this Texas game. The Yankees are on here. St. Louis is also on here, and they're higher up in the combinations when you use all of them. Seattle and Cincinnati. So it's really everything except for Texas is on both lists. And the order that we have here, games above 10% margin, really good. So here's your 5-team round robin: Atlanta, Arizona, Cleveland, San Francisco, Tampa Bay. And these other ones are still pretty good at the Dodgers at Pittsburgh. And yeah, your Cubs is your highest underdog of the day, with the Seattle slight underdog, but it's way down here. Let's go over every single game. I did a video just a few minutes ago about putting in 2024 stats and running the macro. It's very difficult to do that, so I kind of wouldn't recommend doing that today. We take a look at last year's stats and we try to put 2024 in for everybody. You'll see it's really spotty. We can't get 2024 stats for everyone. There are 3 holes, so you would still have to go with AAA here, and you have to go with 2023 for Julio Teheran, who's playing his first game for the Mets, and also for Blake Snell, who's pitching for San Francisco for the first time. So you'd still have to do something like this, and you could check it and see what kind of list you get. You see that a lot of the same teams, Texas actually gets raised up, so that's something to pay attention to. Everything else is about the same, except it has Philly over St. Louis, and it has, yeah, we had San Francisco higher up, so it's very similar. But I would recommend going with 2023 just because it's still too choppy for 2024 stats. So this is what I still recommend going with. So we'll look at every single game. White Sox, terrible. Cleveland probably beats them. Even though Deivi Garcia did pitch well last year in the limited innings pitched, it's Chicago's just inability to hit and their lack of run production that probably gives this game to Cleveland. Yankees, less than a run game here. And that's because Jesus Luzardo is a pretty good pitcher. So this might be kind of a close game. You can see the pick is all the way down there as the 10th pick. You've got this AAA pitcher coming up for Milwaukee. This is probably a good pick with Cincinnati, given this guy's really lackluster stats and only being a AAA pitcher. So that's a pretty good line for that situation there with Cincinnati. Pittsburgh over Detroit, 7th pick of the day. Mitch Keller's a pretty good pitcher. So is Reese Olson, though. Says a 1-run game. Pittsburgh can win. Seattle over Toronto. Luis Castillo, solid pitcher. Barrios also should be a good pitching matchup. Barely going in favor of Seattle. Number 1 pick is Atlanta over the Mets, with Teheran, who was traded last year, coming in and pitching for the Mets against Charlie Morton, a very solid pitcher with Atlanta. Dodgers and Minnesota. Here, this game, while we favor the Dodgers here, the score is extremely close, and that's because Bailey Ober can pitch a good game. So if this game stays low and under, it's a chance that Minnesota wins it, according to the scores and potential pitching matchup. but it does still have a 10% margin for the Dodgers under this combination. St. Louis over Philadelphia. Spencer Turnbull is the wild card here. If he has trouble, as he did last year, then St. Louis can win this game with Miles Mikolas. Expect a lot of runs in this game. So an over in St. Louis if the weather's nice, probably a good idea. Houston and Texas, this is the game that goes both ways, and we're not really sure. Framber Valdez can pitch a good game, so this is why this one's tough to play, and I would recommend staying away from this game. I think it's going to go either way. Arizona over Colorado, big heavy favorite for Zach Gallen pitching against Kyle Freeland, so that's a big pick in terms of Arizona. Tampa Bay over the Angels as well, with Zach Eflin going. Should beat the Angels. Solid roster, solid pick there for Tampa Bay. Cubs at the underdog line because Javier Assad is a good pitcher. Yu Darvish did not produce as well as he should have last year with San Diego underperforming. So there's your underdog of the day in the Cubs. And San Francisco over Washington with Blake Snell coming out and pitching his first game with San Francisco. Understand why that's 215 because he is going. So that's the look. Good luck, everyone. May all your picks be winning.